Okay, this is Professor Donna Wilson, and I will be teaching your summer logic 8-week class. And this class, if you're taking very much any other classes, you might have some trouble because this class is usually taught in a 16-week period. So we'll be going pretty fast because we still cover the same amount of material. Now, all I want to do tonight, I will have some video lectures from last spring from my lecture class that I will make available to you on certain instances. And when you just keep in mind that if there's any dates gone over in that lecture, of course, it has nothing to do with this summer session. There's some things that I cover in the lecture class that are usually beneficial to students, so I like to make those available. But I am doing one thing a little different. So if you do see some kind of lecture video that shows something about the SoloLearn site, we won't be officially using that site, although there's a link to it because a lot of people enjoy learning Python that way. We're going to do something a little different this summer. But if you haven't ever been in Canvas, this is the interface of Canvas. Most of you have at least had one class in Canvas instead of D2L. And so you will, if you're in student view, let me go to student view so that you will see this. So this will look like the same it does to you. And so over here is your welcome announcement. And in this welcome announcement, it tells you when the class officially begins, June 3rd. And I am going to you should be able to be seeing this video before that time. The instructor information is clicked at this link. The Meet the Class discussion, which is due before midnight, Sunday night, June 9th, is something that I have to have, and a profile picture over here in your account. Mine isn't showing because I'm in student view, but when you go in my actual view, it'll show my profile picture. But especially since this is an online class, I need to see a picture of you and something that you need to know up front. And if you don't have this available to you, then there's no need in you continuing. But we have 4 tests that are program coding tests, and you cannot take them in the testing center because Python is not loaded there in that center. So I require students, I give you and 2 times that I come into a Zoom meeting, and you come into the Zoom meeting with me, and you have to identify who you are, and I will verify that's who's there, and you have to stay in the Zoom meeting while you take that particular test. So there's only 4 of those. I'm not talking about those tests that are in MindTap, and we'll talk about that here in a minute. But I just want to clarify that up front, that you do have to have a webcam on your computer to be able to take this class. And if you don't have one on your computer, you need to have one available during the test times. So if there's any questions, you can email me about that, and I can clarify that. Now, something that I do, the way I structure this course, because it is online and I like students to have over the weekend to complete all assignments, our weeks actually will start, even though this class starts on Monday, June 3rd, I like to have the weeks go from Tuesday to Monday night at midnight. In other words, you have till Monday night at midnight to get assignments in that are due on a certain due date. And there will be late penalty points this semester. Canvas automatically calculates those for me. And so all of the assignments will be open up until the end, but at a certain period, they're not worth anything. So You will always be able to submit the assignments, but it'll say past due if it's past due the due date. So this is a full 8-week session, and we cover quite a bit of material, so be sure that you stay on task here. If you have not ever used Canvas before, I would highly recommend that you go through this short little video on an overview of how to navigate this interface here. And so that is all that's in your welcome announcement. But then if we go back to the home page, which is where you always get your assignments, and this will always stay here, and it says start here, welcome, read me first. And so to begin the course, you read the announcement, which we just did that. You can review the syllabus here, and there's a couple of places where you can go ahead and start with the online ebook. If you click on the syllabus, this is my office location, but in the summertime, I do not keep any physical office hours. But if you would like to meet online through a Zoom meeting, which is how we will be doing those 4 tests I mentioned, then if you will email, we will schedule a time that we can meet in this same format. And I can, if you're having any trouble, I can help you by sharing screen. There again, I won't be at that campus phone number, so the best way to get a hold of me is through this email right here. This is the course description, and it tells you that this course is fully online. There will be 1 to 4 coding exams that will be completed in a Zoom meeting, so you're required to have a webcam. That's what I mentioned earlier. Here's our objectives, and this is the link to where you can purchase the textbook online. It's actually just an ebook, and it also has where you do some coding inside there. So if you don't have the money to purchase it the first day of class, that's not going to be any excuse for assignments being late, because in an 8-week class, you have such a short period of time, and also because Cengage offers you 14 days free to use this book up until you can get it paid for. So when you click on there, you'll be given the instructions. Like if I click here, it will, I don't know why it said that. Okay, so here is where you would register for it, and so you would put your email address in here and whatever your Canvas password is, and then you would sign in. Oops, no, but I'm going to make sure that's the correct link, because that may be one to my last semester. I'll go in and look. But the link that I know for sure works, and you cannot buy this access code by going to Amazon. You can buy it in our bookstore or this way online. So don't try to go to Amazon and get the printed book, because the printed book, or if you want the printed book, you can do that, but you have to have the access code to get to the unit test and some other assignments that I'll show you shortly. And here's the breakdown of the percentages. Actually, I've gone to a percentage-based here instead of point-based. So you'll see that inside the assignments, you can see which ones are worth the higher percentage. Attendance. The most important thing is that you complete that meet the class before June 9th, because the AW rules, administratively withdraw rules, have to be met. And so students that have not communicated with me and done the meet the class will be administratively dropped on June the 9th. I'm sorry, on June the 10th. So there's ways to submit assignments, and I'll go over that in the first assignment video. But when you purchase Cengage, here's what it will look like. Let me get into mine. So when you first log in, let me get the sign in here. You won't have to sign in like this because you'll come in through Canvas. But I want to show you once you get in, here's what the book will come up. It will look like this, and you'll click on for, it'll give you 2 buttons, and one button will say that you want to do the trial for 14 days, and you can at any time during that 14 days, you can go ahead and buy the book because you will have to do that. So let me go. Once you get your link set up, I'm sorry. Once that is done, then this is what MindTap looks like, and you will be you'll take the pre-course assessment. The download of the data files is only needed if you do the some work that I don't even assign to you all. But this also, if you click here, it will give you an overview of how to navigate through MindTap. But here's the first thing that you will want to do is in the Unit 1 is the overview. There's a preview which gives you the learning objectives. Then this is the actual textbook here. You can also get the entire textbook right here. This gives you by chapter. And then this little visualize, you need to watch these. In one of my videos, I watched one of them. But these are little videos that help you to understand what's covered in the chapter. So you can watch these either before or after. Then the code section will be the only section that has some Python in it. And when you do these, you'll click on the executing code in Python, and you'll get a screen like this. You'll do start assignment now. And these assignments here are only worth 5 points. But what you have to understand is a lot of times it won't give you the full 100%. But as long as I can see that you have done these, because there's little bitty things that keep it from giving you 100%. But when you do what it says here, you can, these are the instructions, which is what you see here. Correspondence not coming up right now for some reason. And then this portion lets you know if your program is run successfully, and if it hasn't, then there'll be this little guy will come up and he'll tell you kind of what you did wrong. And then this part just gives you some little, if you submitted and the runs and so forth. So here's this one. If I go up here and I look at my instructions, it says execute the program, there should be no syntax errors. Well, in a programming language, syntax errors are errors that don't have anything to do with the correct answer. It won't even run because maybe you're missing a quote here. And if I take that off, you'll notice my parentheses turns red because that's showing me that I have an error. But, oops, I don't know why I put 2 in there. That's strange. So I can, this is where I know that I can run this program, but it says modify the program so it displays I'm learning how to program in Python. So here you would go ahead and type in here in, is that what it says? In Python. And so now execute the program. So in order to execute the program, I would click this button over here and it runs it. And when it runs, this is what it would look like on the computer. I'm learning how to program in Python. So after you modify it, and then you would add a second, it says modify the Python program so it prints 2 lines of output. add a second output statement that displays, that's awesome. So print in Python is what displays it to the screen. And so here I would say that's awesome. And if you don't spell something right, something like that, it may not give you 100%. So then when you have completed your program, so I'll run it again and make sure this works. And it does. So now I can submit. This is if I want a copy of the file to download and run, like say in IDLE or PyCharm. But I probably don't have the submit button here. There should be, this is the workspace. That's where you can close it and open it up here. Let's tell you that if you had problems, this one says program runs successfully. So if I click here, 1 out of 1 checks passed, great work. So before you get the submit button, you've got to click this one up here so it'll tell you if you got 100% or not. If you didn't, you can do this run checks and it will give you an idea of maybe what you did wrong. But when you finished, you click submit 100%. And if no matter what you do, you can't get it to do 100%, then don't worry about it. Just for doing it, I will give you those 5 points because I can go in and tell what you did. But sometimes if you even put an extra space up inside the quotes, or if it isn't exactly what it tells you over here, it'll give you some trouble. So let me know if you have any problems with that. Now, inside the textbook, so I'm going to cancel out of this. And when you're reading the textbook here, like the first programming assignment, I tell you to do programming exercises, and I tell you which ones to do. Well, if you look at the table of contents, you can go down to exercises here. And these are review questions, which are not, and in some of the lectures I go over them, but that's not the ones that I'll ever have you do and turn in. So down here are programming exercises, and I have you do number 2, which you just copy out of the chapter actually, and you put it on a Word document or a PDF. And then down here, I assign 6, but I actually do a couple of these in my video lectures to show you how to do pseudocode and flowcharting with Lucidchart. But this will be where any programming assignments are. And the one thing that I want to emphasize is if you're having trouble understanding how to solve these problems, then just because I do not assign them all does not mean that that's not a good thing for you to do. If you have programmed before, it comes easy for you, then you just do what's required. But if you really want to learn programming logic, you should do some of these extra ones at the end of the chapter. But just remember, I don't have time to grade all of them, so that's why I only assign a portion of them. So that is pretty much MindTap, except each chapter you'll do whatever's under code. Study has a slideshow in there, and flashcards, I believe, that help you study for the test. And then the apply will always have the unit test. And you'll notice the unit test was 10 points. It's usually not very many problems, and it's usually, I don't remember if it has fill in the blank. But the thing about the unit test is you're allowed to take it until you get 100%. But I don't give you 100% on this test because this is like testing whether you read the chapter. And if you want to get all 10 points, then you can, there's an unlimited number of times that you can try. And no matter how many times you try, I will always take the highest score. So we have 7 chapters in here, but I don't grade what's in chapter 7. We do file handling in the PDF book. So we only take grades through unit 6. So hopefully that gave you what you needed for MindTap. And there is one other thing. that I wanted to cover in this introduction video. So if I go back, let me go back. I'm going to get out of student view here. And when we go back to the modules page or the main page, you'll notice, okay, let me see if there was something else in the start here. README, let me make sure I covered everything that was in there. Course information. Virtual Cafe is just a discussion board where students can discuss things with other students. Sometimes I may look at it, but I don't monitor that discussion. And then the instructor's office, you can use that to get in contact with me, or if you want to leave information there that you think is important to other students, you can do that. But the best way to set up a time with me is through my email there. Want to view a few additional videos with various scripts that may be helpful? That's that one. And free software is just like if you have a PC and you rather use Visio. We also have Visual Studio. There's a lot of software that's free to you in the business division. Here's a place that you can go and download Python, but one of your first assignments, it tells you that you can download the IDE called Python, but when you called PyCharm. And so you do a little programming in Python right in this first week. And all the lectures that I use will use IDLE instead of PyCharm. And so you'll see a little bit of difference there between the two IDE environments. And the guy in the tutorial, he really explains really well what the difference is in an integrated development environment, which is what IDE stands for. Okay, so let me go back to the modules again and make sure this just tells a little bit about myself. And then the organization of our course, that's where I talked about being able to communicate through email or with other students. But this also tells you how to use the email if you have any problems with it. And need help. Something that's listed in there is over here, there's different kinds of help. When you click on this button, you can ask your instructor questions, search the Canvas guides, Canvas support, chat with Canvas support, Canvas support hotline. So you can explore the student resource guide, but information concerning Canvas and if you have a problem in Canvas is all right here at this help button. So course information, this is what you need to do in the beginning to prepare for class. And this is where the link is good that takes you to the MindTap. I don't know why it keeps telling me that because it went to it the other day. I'll make sure that I have the correct link on there. And then the MindTap book is required. And then this is the link to, in the first lecture, I talk a little bit about this as a PDF, a free book that teaches you Python, but it does not have flowcharting and pseudocoding. So that's why we don't use it exclusively, but it is free. And here's the link for Zoom, all Zoom meetings, and I also have it outside this document so you can find it easier. Anytime we do a Zoom meeting, it's always this link that gets you into the meeting. And here's the link for Lucidchart, and in that first lecture video, I tell you how to sign up for the free one. It's just when you click on lucidchart.com, be sure that you are on the one that says for free. And it tells you to install Python, and you can do that there, or you can wait till there's in chapter 1, there's a video. And then the meet the class that I've already talked about. So the next thing, there's where you can register for your course or for the book. Here's for Lucidchart. Here's to download Python, Zoom link. And you don't have this showing. I do because I have a few others. Tutorial sites. These are some other sites that we've used in the past, but you don't have any assignments here. But these are strictly, they will teach you a lot of different languages, but they do have Python on these sites. So your assignment that's going to be due by Monday night, which would be June 10th at midnight, is everything that's on. The way this is laid out in Canvas, I will always give you a page each week with all the assignments, but then the links below are actual links to the assignments. So the first thing I tell you to do is to meet the class. This is the actual first long lecture concerning Unit 1 and the Unit 1 test, or I'm sorry, Unit 1. So I also talk about this assignment, and then there's the MindTap assignment, which is the one that's executing the code that I went over. Then this is a newer assignment that we're going to use a tutorial by a young man that is he was very good, and I thought it would be a good one to use this time. And so what we're going to do in his tutorial is we're going to cover everything through variables. So if you go to the assignment, this is the video, and it's like 4 hours long. Well, don't pass out because we're not going to do all 4 hours at one time. This first part, I believe, takes maybe 50 minutes. And so this is just where I've copied a screenshot of once you start the video. If you do show more, it shows all the contents of the video. And there's all these sections here that, it's 38 minutes. It'll take you to do that. But he tells you how to install Python and PyCharm, set up and code a Hello World program. And then the first ones that you have to turn something in will be drawing a shape, variables and data types, working with strings, and working with numbers. And it tells you right here, complete the tutorials through working with numbers. Complete the 4 exercises starting with drawing a shape, and you can't get to this until you've done these 2 items. You won't be able to do anything. Then take a screenshot. So once you have, let me see if I've still got his link open. I don't think I do. Let me see. No, maybe. Let's see. Yes. Okay, so this is the video that you'll be watching, and it starts by he gives you an explanation of Python, then he tells you how to install it and how to install PyCharm, and then you work through. If this only shows, the contents will show down here, and that's the part that I did the screenshot of that you're only to do in the beginning down through the one with numbers. So hopefully this helps you out, and I believe that's about all that I will cover that's not in the videos, because so the first week, what you notice, and every week eventually it'll be laid out like this. It'll be your instruction sheet, and then this is an exercise in the book, in the MindTap ebook. This is the MindTap assignment, executing code in Python. So when you click there, it should take you directly into that. Then this is the one that we just clicked on called variables that needs to be done. And actually, yeah, this one does say 10 points. So those are things that will do. I haven't fixed up week 2 yet, so I will get that done right away. But I did want y'all to be able to go into the book and get started. So I'm going to go ahead and open this course up probably. and let you get a chance to do something in it. All right, let me stop this.